From Everybody Studios, we're jumping off the pages of SouthPark Magazine as we bring the stories to life that make up the art and soul of Charlotte. This is SouthPark Says with Krisha Chachra. So pull up, turn it up, and take a seat. We're talking to SouthPark Community Partners and Southern Entertainment. This is episode 2 of SouthPark Says with Krisha Chachra. Joining me in the studio today is Adam Rhew, President and CEO of SouthPark Community Partners, a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to the economic vitality and improving the quality of life for SouthPark residents. And Mike Stevens, Head of Brand Partnerships for Southern Entertainment, a Charlotte-based entertainment and production company that is responsible for signature events such as Lovin Life Festival and SouthPark After 5. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. So, Adam, we'll start with you. We want to hear about what SouthPark Community Partners is doing and what kind of things you have ready for us this spring and summer.
Well, so much. As you know, there's a ton happening in the neighborhood. As you said, our mission is about the vitality of SouthPark, how to make sure that this place that we all love is an incredible place to live, work, and play. And experiences are core to that mission. And so our job is to wake up every day and think about how do you have an extraordinary experience in SouthPark? And one of the ways that we think about that is by bringing people together. So SouthPark After 5 comes back. We're starting season number 3, which is hard to believe, with our friends at Southern Entertainment. And over the last couple of years, we've brought over 50,000 people to Symphony Park for that free concert series. So really trying to bring people together in the heart of SouthPark to create that shared experience and then create some emotional connectivity to the place. You come, you have a great time, you feel closer, you feel more connected to your neighbors, and it makes you want to come back.
That's right. And it's really cool that you partner with local companies like Southern Entertainment to put on this kind of production. So how long have you been working with Southern Entertainment, and how did you two meet and start this partnership?
I've been with Southern Entertainment a little over 15 years, and Adam and his team have been fantastic to work with. SouthPark Community Partners, when they were formed, we had done a variation of SouthPark After 5 in Uptown, Alive After 5. So the model was great, again, about bringing people together through music. And we moved it to SouthPark, Symphony Park. It was just a beautiful setting, and it's really transformed into a celebration, a gathering, very family oriented, which is great. You know, you can come out. Entertainment's actually over by like 9, so everyone can kind of get home and get ready for their day. But so the overall format and just the execution of the event is top notch, and Adam's team is unbelievable. So we really formed a fantastic partnership together.
That's awesome. And like you said, it goes until 9 o'clock. So it's a school night on Thursdays. So kids can still come, have fun. And then families, if they need to leave early, they can. But I also hear that you have some fun things happening at the event besides just the music. Face painting, is that one?
Yeah. Part of what we wanted to do when we built this with Southern Entertainment is you start with music as the backbone. That's the reason that people come out. You go to this beautiful setting. But because SouthPark is kid central, how do we make that a family-friendly experience? So face painting, balloon animals, interactive art experiences. So every week we try to do something that is hands-on, that's very kid-friendly, and that gives people a chance to, really enjoy their time in the park, whether you're listening to the music, whether you're eating from great food trucks. And my kids, when we take them, they know this event because it's the place where the balloon animals and the face game. I mean, that's what they know this event for. And so it's fun that, mom and dad have got something that they can look forward to, and the kids have something they can do as well.
That's right. And the most important part is that it's free. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so free. And tell us the time and the place again. I know you said Symphony Park, but tell us a little bit about where that is.
Yeah, so that's Symphony Park. It's at the corner of Barclay Downs and Carnegie, really right at the heart of the business core on the backside of SouthPark Mall. This event kicks off on April 17th. It runs for 6 Thursdays this spring, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., as Mike said. It's intended to be family-friendly and really community-oriented.
Perfect. Now, do you have enough areas for people to park, though? And how would you suggest that they get to this event on Thursdays?
Yeah, so parking and transportation around events always comes up, and people have been doing it so long that they just figure it out. Plenty of parking on the backside of South Park Mall. There are a lot of people that utilize, public transportation, Uber, Lyft. It's easy to get in, it's easy to get out every week.
And one of the things we have new this year,
Right, I was going to
South Park
say,
Skipper.
give it a plug, Adam.
So this will be our first South Park After 5 season with the South Park Skipper. It's our free ride share service in South Park. The idea came from the community. They wanted a way to be able to move around the neighborhood without moving their car multiple times. So you can imagine if you already work in South Park, leave your car at the office and use the Skipper to come and have drop you off right at the front door of the park. If you live nearby, walk somewhere, get a drink beforehand, and take the Skipper into the park. That's the idea of this program.
Yeah, such a brilliant idea, because Ubers obviously get mad at you if you call them and you're going 1 mile.
That's right.
And with every great thing they're doing in South Park, making it walkable and all the great experiences, the South Park Skipper is a brilliant idea.
Yeah, so I actually want to get back to entertainment, but let's kind of dig in deeper with this idea, because this is really interesting. And I think that South Park is the first commercial center, so to speak, or area in Charlotte that actually has one of these. Is that correct? Then how did that work?
Yeah, there are a number of different for-profit companies that have started similar services, but we're the first kind of nonprofit business district that's led this, actually in the state of North Carolina, with the model that we're using to fund and operate this service. As I mentioned, it came from the community. We launched our South Park Forward 2035 vision plan a year ago, and one of the recommendations in that plan was to have some sort of neighborhood shuttle service. It kept coming up over and over and over again from the community. As Mike said, people want it to be walkable and accessible and experiential. And the Skipper was this idea that we just kept coming back to as a way to achieve that. So we launched the program in mid-November. Here, as we sit, early spring, we've served over 16,000 passengers. And it's free to use in the 1 square mile commercial core of South Park. It's app-based, works just like Uber or Lyft. You download the app, you have it pick you up from where you're going and take you to the front door of where you want to go. And it runs from at this point 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week.
Okay, so you have to be within that footprint.
That's exactly right.
Of Skipper's footprint. So where can people find out where the footprint is, and what is the name of the app?
Yeah, so the app is Ride Freebie. That's our operating partner. So you can download that. And we've got all the information on our website at southparkclt.org/ride. So people can go there, and it gives you all the instructions on how to use it, what the hours are, how to get the app.
Awesome. I remember being there, and that's actually where we met. I remember being there in November while I was there with Ben Kenny, who is the publisher of South Park Magazine, and we were there. And I remember those cars being pretty cushy. They were nice cars, right? So you're actually riding around in some luxury.
Yeah, they're mostly a fleet of Teslas, electric vehicles, which we heard from the community was a priority. And we really wanted something that, keeps people comfortable and dry and safe, and can, really move with ease around the compact footprint that we're operating in.
Perfect. Have you used it, Mike?
I have not, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. And this would be a great opportunity to use it during South Park After 5.
For sure.
To get to the amphitheater there. So you said that you mentioned this was the 3rd year you're doing that? You're doing that? Okay. Are there any partnerships between the two of you, between South Park Community Partners and Southern Entertainment, where you put on events like this, or is South Park After 5 the main one?
Yeah, South Park After 5 is the main event and initiative that we work on together.
Okay, perfect. But you do other things in the community. And obviously you have the big signature event that we look forward to every May now. It's a tradition called Lovin Life Festival. So tell us a little bit about that and what to expect this year.
Yeah, thank you. We're super excited for year 2 of Lovin Life. Last year, it was a massive success. Obviously a huge, huge undertaking to birth a new major music festival.
Which is no easy feat, right? I mean,
a growing town, but it was very important for us to do it in Uptown, to really try to help bring the vitality of an energy back to uptown Charlotte, which we felt we achieved. We worked with a lot of great entities in Charlotte to make it happen. The fire, police, city services, HTA, CRVA, Center City Partners, so many great organizations that we worked hand in hand with through logistics and operations and curation to make it happen. A lot goes on behind the scenes to make a major music festival happen. And we internally have a great team, but also worked with just fantastic people in the city of Charlotte that really had the same vision of putting Charlotte on, really on the world pedestal for a major music festival. If you look back to the start of Lollapalooza in Chicago.
Oh, I remember.
There's definitely major festivals like that we look at and aspire to develop our festival. But a music festival can really put a whole different shape on a city, like Lolla has, or Ball in New York City, or Coachella, or Stagecoach. These iconic music festivals, and that's certainly what we aspire to do in Charlotte, and make Lovin Life, a 30-year iconic music festival.
Wow, that's a big ambition for sure. I mean, because Lollapalooza is still going on, even though it's morphed a lot since the early 90s, as I remember. But yeah, I mean, why do you think that Charlotte has the capacity to have that kind of durable music festival throughout the years? I mean, you're talking 3 decades. So what makes Charlotte a good place for that to land?
Yeah, so 100%. And one of the big initiatives of the city of Charlotte, Charlotte Music Everywhere, is really trying to grow the music scene in Charlotte, locally, regionally, and us coming in and bringing some of the world's greatest bands to Charlotte for a weekend is a big part of that initiative, and to continue to help fuel the growth and the vision of the Charlotte leaders to really make Charlotte a music city.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Adam?
Well, it's so important. And I think the thing that is incredible about what Mike and the whole Southern Entertainment team are doing with this is that it's happening in Uptown, but we feel the effects of that citywide. So the exposure that we get, the brand recognition for Charlotte as people are posting online about their experience. We feel energy from Uptown events in South Park. Our hotels are full. People are shopping and dining in South Park. If you come in and you make a weekend out of Lovin Life, you may be at the music festival for part of the time, but you also might be coming out to South Park to shop, or your hotel might be there. You might get a drink there before you head back uptown for, the night's show. And so this is so important for Uptown's vitality and vibrancy, but there's really a broad impact across our city. And I think if we want our city to be the kind of place that all of us aspire for it to be, we've got to have these big signature events like this in our community.
Mm-hmm. Really good point, because even though I work for South Park Magazine, I live in South Charlotte. And now, of course, we have the Ballantine Bowl there. We have all of that new development and the AMP, which is, a signature pavilion there as well. So we did have a discussion about this. I think Bob, who is the co-founder of Southern Entertainment, came as one of the panelists for the South Charlotte Partners, which is kind of the sister organization of what you're doing, Adam, with the South Park Community Partners. And we did pose this question, what will it take for Charlotte to be the next music city? And I'm wondering, a lot of people are excited about it. We see that when we have big events like Lovin Life, we do capture the attention of other big name acts that might want to perform. And that's exciting for everyone. That's part of economic development. However, we also have residents that are concerned about this, the growth and the traffic that comes with it. So how would you address that? If we're looking to be the next music city, what are your thoughts on how we keep the integrity of the quality of life for those of us that have invested and lived here for so long?
That's a great question, and it's a fine line to walk. For instance, Lovin Life, because of the magnitude, we work with and meet with all of the local neighborhood wards, and just listen to them, and they voice their concerns, and really the majority of them understand that with growth of the city, and to have a music festival, it might be 3 days of, actually great music from my back porch. And some people, might find it, that it's too loud. But our festivals end at 11 p.m., which is a very reasonable time. Yeah. So, I think it behooves us to take it on head on and go talk to those neighborhood groups and really let them understand what we're trying to achieve and kind of our part in growing the city of Charlotte and growing the music scene. And then, if you look at the model, which we have of your Nashvilles or any, city that really thrives on music, and they have the same challenges. And it just comes with growth. And I know like organizations like ours that do it right and do it with class and, don't hide behind communication and do outreach to people. They really appreciate that. They just want to be heard. So that's our approach, and that's what we take pride in doing. And I think, with those methods, you can move the initiative forward.
Great point.
I think the other thing to think about, whether it's Lovin Life or whether it's investments in professional sports or major events that are happening in our community, is that, in order for cities to thrive, we have to continually invest and continually be intentional about where we're headed. And cities don't stay still. They're growing or dying every day. And so if we're not intentional about that 30-year vision, whether that's to become, a music festival like Lollapalooza, whether it's a decades-long vision for professional sports in our community, Charlotte cannot compete with other cities to attract jobs, to attract residents, to attract investment. And all of that fuels this virtuous cycle that drives quality of life for those of us who are here. And so we want to be a city that is thriving and vibrant. And in order to do that, we've got to be forward-looking when it comes to major events like this.
Yeah, and take the risk.
That's right.
Yeah, take the risk and learn from the mistakes and make it better, which is something I know both of you are doing with all of your events.
And it's, Mike touched on this. It's about being, partners. I think one of the things that they've done a great job with Lovin Life is you heard the coalition of people that are around the table working together.
Right.
That's core to what we do in SouthPark. Is it's got to be a partnership. We've got to do it together. And if we do that, together as partners with intentionality, Charlotte wins.
Right. And a partnership with the neighborhoods, that's true. So how do you involve the neighborhoods when you're making decisions at SouthPark Community Partners?
We have a great neighborhood organization in our area called the SouthPark Association of Neighborhoods. I like to joke they're the United Nations of neighborhood associations, because all the 40 some odd neighborhoods that touch SouthPark send a representative to span the SouthPark Association of Neighborhoods. And so they're able to speak with one voice on behalf of all of these neighbors. And what we've been able to do is develop this great partnership. There's a lot of listening, a lot of back and forth dialogue. I was on the phone with somebody from Span on my drive here. I've got to call somebody from Span on my drive back because we're constantly in communication about their needs, their aspirations, what they want SouthPark and Charlotte to become. And so our team really says, let's come to the table as partners. We're not always going to agree, but there's a commitment to coming back and working on something together every single day. And so it's about listening, it's about working together, and it's about having a common vision, a shared vision for what our neighborhood and our city are today and where we hope they'll be in a decade.
Are you surprised at how fast Charlotte has grown? There's some statistic I know the mayor talks about that there are probably around almost 80 people that move to the city a day. It's some crazy number like that, and don't quote me on that, but I know it's some high number, say between 50 to 80 people, including, families. Are you surprised by that? And how did it happen?
I'm not surprised in the least. I grew up in the Northeast.
Okay.
I've called Charlotte home for 20 years, and the the quality of life, the climate, the proximity to the beach, to the mountains, the business environment, the schools for our children to grow up. Charlotte's just a magnificent place, and it's a magnet. It has a great reputation, and the proof is in there's 80 people moving here a day.
Something like that, yeah, for sure.
To Adam's point, it really, we need people like us to continue the vibrancy and the growth of this city, because all the fundamentals are there for growth.
I'm a native, so I'm bullish on Charlotte because this is my home, and I've had a front row seat to this growth over my lifetime. It started with visionary leadership from people like Hugh McCall and Harvey Gantt, and so many of our corporate leaders in Charlotte who recognized this place's potential and worked really hard, again, with that shared vision for the future, to bring people together and to push really hard for Charlotte's growth. And so when you start with people like Mr. McCall and Mr. Gantt as your champions for growth and community vibrancy, you've got a pretty good playbook to go execute. And to Mike's point, now it's incumbent upon the next generation of leaders to continue that momentum, to continue the trajectory. And again, to do it thoughtfully and intentionally in a way that brings everybody along and ensures that there's opportunity for all. But again, having lived through it, not surprised, and in fact, I'm really energized by what the next 30 years look like for Charlotte.
Right. And the intentionality is key. It's key for sure. You're listening to SouthPark Says with Krisha Chachra. Today in Everybody's Studios, we have Adam Rhew, President and CEO of SouthPark Community Partners, and Mike Stevens, who is Head of Brand Partnerships for Southern Entertainment. So I want to go back to something you guys said earlier, and we talked about how the growth of a city, like any, regional place, has to do with, somewhere I read 3 things, and that is jobs, education, and things to do. And so you both are focused mainly on the things to do, but the jobs and the education have to be here in order for you to be successful. So I want to know if you partner or work with any companies or any higher education programs or even the schools, and what kind of work you do in order to sort of envelop those things to do that you guys are working at, with whether it's entertainment or growth and development of South Park, and how those organizations play into that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's very important to us. We have a number of high-profile partnerships and coalitions that we're working on. Johnson & Wales, which is in Uptown, we're working closely with them and bringing their students to the festival to work for us, to work in the food sector, to work on special projects and some research for the festival. UNCC, they are actually going to be a title sponsor of the Super VIP section this year at our festival. Their building in Uptown is within the footprint of the festival, and we're going to be doing some things hand in hand with them and across the street within the footprint of our festival. So it's great to work with UNCC and Johnson & Wales, and then also just working with all of so many local businesses on the production operation side of things, and then also on the partnership side of things. We really thrive to make Lovin Life local, to make it Charlotte, to make Charlotte the hero of the festival. Right. We're doing an initiative with all the professional teams because we know music brings people together. So we have a partnership with the Panthers, the Hornets, the Checkers, the Knights. Carolina Ascent is sponsoring a stage, the local stage at at Lovin Life Music Festival. Charlotte FC. So all of those teams are going to have a day. They're going to have a mascot. They're going to have some presence at the festival. And, like I said, music really kind of brings people together. We want to bring all the teams, celebrate their success, their organizations, their staff, through music and through the festival.
And you also have you said something about a local stage. So you also highlight local music acts as well.
Yes. It's really in our DNA at Lovin Life and all the festivals we do. to foster local and regional music. We do Battle the Bands, and there are thousands of entries. Like, there is so much good talent out there that just don't get the opportunity or the look. So to get a spot at a major music festival where there's 50, 60 artists and have your name, next to Dave Matthews Band, next to Pitbull, next to Gwen Stefani is, really life-changing for some of these artists. But we definitely pride ourselves on giving these artists the opportunity. So in First Ward Park, which is a beautiful part of our festival, we'll have the Carolina Ascent stage. And each day there's about 10 artists, local artists, that are going to be on those stages. We also formed a really cool partnership with the Charlotte School of Rock. So you hear of School of Rocks across the country. Charlotte School of Rock is thriving. A number of franchisees are growing. So they're going to have a spot on the stage, and we're going to celebrate their organization and really how they bring youth into music.
That's wonderful. And when you see it, you can be it.
Yeah.
So it does give inspiration for those budding musicians here in Charlotte to know that there is a place for them to land here in the city. And Adam, I'm sure you work with partners.
We do. And it's funny, that's core to what both of our organizations do. It's about partnership. At SouthPark Community Partners, we are an economic development nonprofit. That is our mission. And so we work every day with the City of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance to attract, retain, and grow companies, to grow jobs, to grow investment in our community. The SouthPark core, the area that we serve, is home to 25% of Charlotte's Fortune 500 headquarters. There are 32,000 people that work there every day. It is an important engine for our regional economy. And so nurturing that, being thoughtful about how we grow jobs and investment and create opportunity for people, whether that's office jobs, whether that's retail, hospitality jobs, which are so important to our visitor economy. That is all part of what our organization does, but we can't do it without partners. And so it's really working across the economic development ecosystem to find those companies, attract them to Charlotte, get them to laser focus, in our case, on SouthPark, to come here to be successful, and then help them scale, help them grow, to grow jobs, to grow investment, to make sure that they're thriving in our community. And again, it's all part of that virtuous cycle where those people are attracted to our community because of things like Lovin Life, because of our professional sports, because of amazing amenities like Symphony Park. And so we get them here, they invest in our community, that fuels more quality of life improvements that all of us can benefit from. And it works, again, like that virtuous cycle.
Right. Definitely a cyclical plan. And that's a lot of forecasting for the future too, because as you grow families, you grow loyal people who might end up going to school around here, coming back and reinvesting back into the community they grew up in.
That's exactly right. We want to retain those people. If you grow up here, we want you to go to college, whether that's, somewhere like a UNC Charlotte and stay local, or if you go off somewhere else, we want you to come back and we want you to become, a part of our community and to help shape it and mold it for the next generation.
Yes. And there's a place for you too.
Yes, that's right.
Jobs and education and things to do.
We always laugh, Adam's from here.
Right.
And I'm a transplant. And there's lots of transplants. But, we've all had children in Charlotte. So it's ready to flip, and all of our children are from Charlotte.
They're from
native Charlotte.
That's right.
So,
they have to fly sometimes. You want them to have a safe place to land if they want to come back.
Yeah.
Right. So, right. That's right. A long runway to success, no matter when you enter back into the economy. So very cool. Well, we have a few more minutes left, and I want to get to something new that SouthPark Community Partners is hosting this year. It is your Loop 5K. Yeah. It's something that we are highlighting in this month's issue of SouthPark Magazine, the April 2025 issue. Please make sure you pick up a copy anywhere you get the magazine, or you can also go online at southparkmagazine.com. So tell us a little bit about the Loop 5K.
Yeah, so the Loop is a 3-mile pedestrian trail in South Park. It's a project that came out of the neighborhood associations, and something that, as you think about South Park becoming more walkable, we need to build the facilities to encourage people to do that. That's a place that people can go and enjoy just being outside and being together, but also a way to safely get from point A to point B. And so the Loop is a project that we're championing with the neighborhood associations and with the city and working piece by piece to build over time. But in the short run, there's still amazing opportunities to start to help people embrace that vision. And the Loop 5K is an event that we're doing on Sunday, April 27th. It's a chance to run a 5K that follows the rough path of the future Loop Trail. You get to get out, enjoy beautiful springtime in South Park, which is my favorite season in the neighborhood. It's the most beautiful time.
Everything in bloom.
Everything's in bloom. Everything's green. You've got this amazing tree canopy. And part of the goal of the race is to raise awareness for the Loop, to raise a little bit of money to support future Loop improvements, and to just show people that this is a project that takes all of us and that all of us have a role in helping to bring to fruition. And we're really excited about the partnerships that are coming together to make it possible. I'm excited to get out and run, not setting any records, but we'll go. Trot around a little bit. And I think the thing that we're most excited about is that after the race, there's a block party. It's a real chance for the community to come together, again, build relationships with your neighbors, learn a little bit about this transformative project for South Park, and get to spend time, in the backyard of our community together with other people.
Where is the after party going to be at?
Yeah, so that'll be on Rexford Road, which is where the start and end line is there at the Esplanade. Yeah, and so that's where it'll be, and it'll be at the Esplanade office building there. We've got an amazing setup, and that street, if you've been on it, it's one of the most beautiful tree-lined streets in all of South Charlotte. So a really beautiful venue for, again, people to come together and spend time outside with their neighbors.
Okay, so some details. How much does it cost? Where can people register?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, southparkclt.org, we've got all the information on our events page about how to get registered. There's still space. I think it's $40 right now to register for the race. The 5K starts at 8 and ends when you cross the finish line, which will be a minute for me. And then the block party kicks off as soon as the race is over. You don't need to be registered for the race to enjoy the block party. So everyone's welcome at that party. We'd love to see people who are, pushing their strollers, and kids who are just out for a little bit of a fun run, or people who just want to come out and be outside and learn about this project.
Perfect. And so that's free and open to the public, that part. And it'll take place after the race, probably 9, 10, something like that in the morning. Perfect. And this is the first year you're doing this?
That's exactly right. It's something that we've heard from the community that there was interest in, and we have amazing partners at The Motion Fitness. It's a locally owned fitness studio in South Park. They came to us and said, hey, we're fired up about the Loop. We're right on the path of the Loop alignment. How do we get people excited about this project? And we've got some ideas on how we might do that. And so we were able to work with them and with a number of other community partners in South Park to create this opportunity to, again, raise awareness, raise some money, and build some community connections.
And the Loop, you said, would be finished. When is the projected?
So there's no projected time. It's really about seizing the opportunity when we have it. We're working really closely with the city to accelerate portions of the Loop as we can. And then the private sector has been great partners building pieces as South Park grows and develops. So our hope is to make it happen as quickly as possible. But the only way we can do that is with public and private partnerships. And so the stronger the partnership, the more people who are at the table and the more people who are involved and enthusiastic, the faster we can move and the more quickly we can get this thing built.
Perfect. Well, it's a good opportunity for people to see what they might be investing in as you take the Loop. Me, I will be observing the trees and the bushes because I'm not running.
That's right.
But I'll be walking. I'll be strolling along.
As you should.
Doing a little nature walk. So, and are you going to be providing the music for this one?
We will.
Okay, you can make a deal right here.
Yeah. But what a great initiative and great event, and the after party, and as Adam was describing, what a beautiful place.
Well, and one of the things that is important about the partnership that we enjoy is that it happens at Symphony Park, which is on the Loop alignment. It is the signature destination for the Loop, and the long-term vision for Symphony Park as a true premier public park in South Park is something that we're really excited about. And as we think about how our community can come together, the Loop and Symphony Park and South Park After 5 are all interconnected. It's about building that experience where you can leave your office on a beautiful spring day, walk down the Loop, take it directly into Symphony Park, and go experience the concert that we're working on together. Like that's the ideal experience. And we think that vision is really achievable in the short run, and we're excited to work on it with Mike and his team and the rest of the South Park community.
That's right. And there's enough things to do. I mean, if you miss one thing, you have another thing in the next week, and that's the beauty of it. So South Park After 5 starts on April 17th, runs to Memorial Day weekend, so to speak, the 6 weeks. And that is free at Symphony Park. And we have April 27th is the Loop 5K. You can register on your website, and tell us again when Lovin Life Festival is and how to get tickets to that event.
First weekend in May 2, 3, 4. You can get tickets right now on lovinlifemusicfest.com. We have one day, 2 day, 3 day tickets. And a milestone, if you purchase your ticket by Monday, April 7th, we use RFID wristbands. They'll be shipped directly to your house. After that, it's still very convenient, but you'll have to go to Will Call, pick up your passes. So we really encourage people, if you're going to go, get your tickets by April 7th. Wristbands will be shipped to you. But yeah, first weekend in May. We're super excited, and I can't wait to see everyone in Uptown for Lovin Life.
Lovely. Well, gentlemen, you both do great work. We are very, very, very honored that you're here today at Everybody Studios, but also for the good work you do to uplift Charlotte and make it the place to be. So lovinlifefestival.com, southparkclt.org. And also, if you want to have more information about these events, go to southparkmagazine.com and check out the April issue, where we'll be talking about all these fun things to do in Charlotte and beyond. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks for being here. Till next time, take care.